Question 8. 72 students each took a theory test followed by a practical test. They either passed or failed each test. This frequency tree shows some of the results. Okay, a frequency tree is similar to a probability tree. Instead of showing probabilities though, it actually shows the amount of people, in this case, as a frequency that passed or failed each test. So, the first question, 8a. How many students passed both tests? Okay, so let's look at the frequency tree. We have the theory test and the practical test. We're interested in the people that passed the theory test and then went on to pass the practical test. And the answer is given at the end there, just as similar as it is in a probability tree. And so the answer here is 52, passed both the theory test and then the practical test. The next question. 5/6 of the 72 students passed the theory test. Complete the frequency tree. So it's a pretty straightforward question. Actually can be solved independently of the rest of the questions. So if you can't pick up the marks on the first part, you should at least have a go at answering this second part. So what we're after is 5/6 of 72, and to do a fractional amount using your calculator, you simply do 72 divided by 6, that gives you 12. Always use a calculator. Times by 5 gives us 60. So the answer to this one is 60. So 5/6 of the 72 students passed the theory test. This comes to 60. So that's passing the theory test. So again, look back to the frequency tree. Theory test is here. So passing with 60 goes in here. Okay, what's the next question? Oh, there's another part to part B. It says complete the frequency tree. Okay, so let's go back and look at the frequency tree. Now we have 60, we can actually solve some of the other parts of the frequency tree. So if 60 people passed the theory test, and then 52 of them went on to pass the practical test, that means 8 must have failed the practical test. So in here we can put the number 8. If 72 students took the theory test, we know that 60 passed, that means that 12 failed. If we know that 12 failed the theory test and then 9 went on to pass the practical test, how many went on to fail the practical test? Well, 12 minus 9 gives us 3. Okay. Question C. Which test was passed by more students? Explain your reasoning. Okay, so how many students passed the theory test? The theory test is the first one in the frequency tree, and that number is simply 60. How many people passed the practical test is slightly more complicated. It is 52 people here, and it's also the 9 people here. So 52 plus 9, again, always use a calculator, gives us our 61. So then what we need to say is that 61 is greater than 60. So this 61 referred to the practical test, so practical test. And the reason being is that 61 is greater than 60.